Greetings and welcome to the Halloween edition of the Sliders Review. And I'm here today to talk to you about Final Destination, the 2000 horror movie. So this is the first one, and this is a very good, very creepy, very disturbing horror movie, and it's very quite unique. It's very different than most horror movies you think of. I like how innovative it is. However, when it came out, the reviews weren't necessarily that great. It scored like a 4.8 out of 10, but the reviews were positive though. And it garnered a number of sequels. I think it garnered a total, it's a total of 5 in the franchise, but they're trying to make a 6th movie now, even though that 5th one was supposed to be the last one, technically. And so I've seen all the sequels, I believe. I know I saw 2. The second one, I saw whichever one had to do with the photograph. And I think there's 2 more I haven't seen. I can't really remember those. But pretty much with all the sequels and everything, they mostly just got more and more and more and more and more elaborate with all the killings and stuff. And it's to the point where the movie started relying more on, wow, look how this person died, as opposed to whatever the story is. It's kind of how the Saw movies went into that same direction. Also, with all the sequels, they relied too heavily on CGI to where it just looked flat out fake, as opposed to whatever it is they did back in 2000. I guess practical and a little bit of CGI, but mostly practical and stuff. And the more and more these movies kept going on, the more they just started looking fake with all the CGI. But the first movie, in my opinion, is truly that of the best. And I took a whim on this. Like, I've told you before how Scream got me into like slasher movies and stuff like that. And so when I was at like Blockbuster one day, I saw this movie and I'm just like, what is this? It just looks interesting. And so I read the description of the thing on the back of what it's about. And I'm like, you know what? I'll take a chance. Why not? And this was back when I would like watch movies before they would come out in theaters and just buy them on like home media. And I picked good. Like, this is a really good movie and stuff. And it's funny how this movie came about. Jeffrey Reddick is the one who wrote this. He used to write for The X-Files. And James Wong used to direct a lot of stuff for like The X-Files and stuff. He read an article about a woman that was supposed to take a flight, but one of her family members called her and told her, you know what, I got a bad feeling about this flight. And so the woman booked a different like flight schedule and stuff. Well, it turns out her original plane she was supposed to get on crash landed. And so he thought that was so interesting, he pitched it to the X-File people. But then later they decided, you know what, it'll be best to just turn this into like a movie. And it really paid off. It's weird this was based off of a true story, you know, but this added like a paranormal stuff to it. Now, James Wong, he directed and co-wrote the first movie. But he directed, wrote, and produced the third. I think the third is the one with the photograph. I think I kind of like the third. I'm not really sure. The second one is all right, but it has a weird premise and everything. So I'll have to rewatch those if I can never find them on streaming. But I remember watching the second one and just not being all that thrilled and stuff. I also hated how they tried to tie it in to the cast of like the first movie and stuff. And I was also disappointed because, well, I'll get into that a little bit later, but I was just disappointed with that. But with this movie, it has a star-studded cast. And I mean, it's a huge cast of like up-and-coming stars of that time and stuff. And some people who were, of course, legendary and stuff. Ali Lartner, she played Claire. Although I don't know why they call her Claire, because her name is spelled Clear. But whatever. Maybe her name is Clear, but it just sounds like Claire in the movie. Who knows? Devin Sauer, he plays Alex. William Scott, well, no, Sean William Scott plays Billy, and I knew him already from the American Pie movie. And Tony Todd, he plays William Bloodworth, who is the morticianer. He has a very interesting role in this, and as well as the second and in the fifth movie. And so Kerr Smith, he plays Carter, and somebody else. I think that's it as terms of like main characters. Oh, and Kristen Cloak, she plays Mrs. Luton. And so, oh wait, one more. Chad E. Dunn. What is it? What's that person's last name? It's Dunn Alela, something like that. I don't know. I forget who that person. Oh, that played Todd. I say it like this. Donilla. He plays Todd. And so, yeah, a lot of these people I've never heard of, except for the Stifler dude and everything. And so the other ones were, prominent in like teen, like movies or like horror movies and other stuff they done later on and teen shows. And so, they were up and coming. They always get those young casts of up and coming people and like teen shows and stuff like that to be in this. And, it really, really, really paid off. The thing about this movie, what it's about, is it's about death. Coming to comfort people who were supposed to die, but did not die. And no matter what, you cannot escape death. It will always comfort you, even if you avoid an accident. Like, how, like, say you're in a car accident and then you survive it. Well, you weren't supposed to survive it. You were supposed to die. And at some point in time, death will comfort you. But it just doesn't comfort you. It's a chain reaction of everybody who survived and everything, that wreck. And that is what the premise of this movie is about. I remember watching it. I was just like so confused. I'm like, what exactly is killing these people, Because sometimes like you'll see water going everywhere. I was like, is it water? Because in two different deaths, like water was involved. But then other deaths, it was just like, my God, the way they came up with the death sequences were very clever and everything. And so going through this movie, you're just in shock and awe, and you're trying to learn this whole pattern of death and how to beat it. There's a way to beat it. And these characters try to find a way to beat it and everything. And so it's just, you go throughout this entire thing just being shocked and awe and amazed at what these young high school students had to do to survive the Grim Reaper and everything. And so Alex, played by Devin Sauer, he's supposed to, of course, go on a flight with the rest of his high school class, his senior class, to Paris and everything, because they take like French. And so he's very nervous and everything about getting on the plane. And so the night before, all this strange stuff starts happening. Like he can almost see like premonitions and everything. And the way they set up the premonitions is very cool. It's just very awkward when you see certain things happen. The wind will blow a certain way. Things will flap in the wind a certain way. It will pan to something. It will pan to this. And it's just this odd, eerie feeling that you kind of get. And it delivers him a message in the most weird and bizarre kind of way. And so he's told, like, by the parents and there. Okay, he was talking to his parents. And I forget I think it's him. I think somebody ripped off the tag on like the suitcase. And they're all like, oh, that's bad luck and blah, blah, blah. And, he's superstitious and stuff like that. Well, while he goes with his class, they're obnoxious. They're typical rowdy teenagers and everything. And so when he's there on like, about to board the plane, he just starts to feel kind of weirded out a little bit. And then when he gets on the plane, he's very weirded out. Now, his friend Todd is a goofball. It's his best friend. And, Todd wants to, change seats because he wants to sit next to the hot girls, this and that. And, and so Alex is just weirded out. He's getting these weird premonitions and stuff. He's just getting an eerie kind of feeling, you know. In a way, the plane takes off. And as they're like, on the plane, he still is weirded out and everything. He's just uncomfortable. Then it happens. The plane bursts into flames. It's a very gruesome scene. Flames are like singeing off their faces and stuff. You see the skin bubbling. Like, it's disgusting. And so it crashes. But he wakes up. He had a nightmare, a premonition of events that was supposed to come. And so he's weirded out because that dream was way too vivid and everything. And he doesn't understand what. So he's freaking out. He's trying to get off the plane. And of course, when you start acting that way, that's when the stewardess try to like restrain you and stuff like that. And he's all like, the plane's gonna explode and all this other stuff. So everybody's freaking out. So what's his name? Carter is like the bully, so he's trying to fight Alex and stuff. It causes a huge uproar, and the stewardess has to like eject some of the students off the plane. Both the teachers go too to see what the heck is going on. And so the stewardess will not allow a certain group of teenagers to go back on the plane. Now, of course, they're not going to allow Alex and Carter because they fought. Billy was coming on the plane as they was fighting, and he just got caught up in the commotion and he got ejected for no reason. Claire, she decided just to leave on her own and everything. And also Todd, his brother, told him, go check on your friend Alex and stuff like that. So he leaves. Now with Carter, his girlfriend left as well. And so the steward is all like, we're finna leave and y'all are staying here, talk to the police and stuff. But Mrs. Luton's all like, a teacher has to go with those rowdy, horny kids to Paris and everything. So the other teacher goes, the male teacher goes. So as they're all in like, the waiting room, still arguing with each other, the plane flies off and Billy's all like, well, there they go and here we stay. Next thing you know, you see a huge boom and the shockwave breaks the windows and everybody goes to their feet. The plane did explode. Everybody is distraught. Everybody is upset. Their loved ones are coming to, comfort them and stuff. But then the FBI comes to investigate, as they do. And they ask everybody, what's going on? Why did you leave the plane? This and that. And so they assume Alex has something to do with the plane crash because he's the one talking about it's going to explode, this and that. So the FBI is on his case for the entire movie. Well, as everybody's mourning and everything in the school for the lost students, nobody wants to be around Alex because they're all like, whatever it is, he had that weird feeling and the plane exploded. And so, like, Claire tells him, thank you and everything. Like, if it wasn't for you, I'll be dead. You know what I'm saying? And she's kind of like the weird artist, like, type person. And so, like, next thing you know, like, him and Todd, they don't talk no more. Like, period. His parents don't want him talking to him. They were supposed to go on a trip together for, like, spring. But Todd's upset because his brother is dead and stuff. And so one night, Alex is just, looking at a Playboy. And he gets another premonition. All kind of weird, freaky stuff starts happening. And the magazine shreds up. And at some point, and the word Todd is shown to Alex. He doesn't know what the world's going on, but he runs to Todd's house. As Todd's in the house, he's in the bathroom trying to shave. Water is like on the floor. He slips on it. His neck gets caught up in the shower curtain like rope or whatever. And some type of rope thing on something. And he's getting hung. And so he's in the tub and he's slipping and sliding. And he can't catch his balance. His eyes are turning bubbly, bloody red. And he dies. And so when Alex goes to check on him, his parents all like, didn't you see this coming? He was upset about his brother. They think he took his own life, but Alex doesn't believe that. Now the FBI is really coming on to that of like Alex. Cause they all like, wow, you said the plane was gonna explode, and now your best friend all of a sudden is dead and you was outside the house. So they think he has something to do with that. Anyway, as time passes in the movie, he's trying to figure out what happened. He sees like the news about like what really caused the explosion. It was like a gas leak. But then they show the seats and where the gas explosion happened. And he realizes something. He realizes that that was the seat he was supposed to sit in. And he got up and left. So he starts mapping out everything, creating like a pattern of the explosion. And in that pattern, the seats with the students that survived were the ones that was supposed to get like hit by like, you know, the impact of the explosion. And he thinks, oh crap, that's how they exploded. It's some type of weird paranormal thing happening. He talks to Claire because she's all like, you know, whatever these feelings is, I have them too, but she doesn't have them as strong as him. That part's not very clear. Clear. So she takes him to a morgue and everything. And that's where they meet Mr. Bloodworth. And he's creeping the crap out of them out because she likes to hang out with dead bodies. And she's all like, whatever it is you think's going on, it's not happening. Like, you know, people just die. People just live, you know, there's no pattern and stuff. And so Mr. Bloodworth is telling them that death does have a pattern and everything. And when you disturb that pattern, like when Alex got up and everything, it broke the pattern. And now death is coming for everybody that was supposed to die. Now, when it comes to Bloodworth, people have assumed who exactly is he? Because he knows too much about death and its paranormal activity. Some think he's the Grim Reaper. Others think he's the devil. Nobody really knows. It's never truly been explained. And so as they're leaving there, you know, at some point they do meet up with the other survivors because a lot of like craziness happens and stuff like that. And so Alex believes that he can avoid dying if he knows the pattern, and he can keep everybody else alive that survived too. So by trying to prevent people dying, of course he sees the parent on the premonitions and stuff, and next is Mrs. Luton. Mrs. Luton wants nothing to do. Oh no, not her. First they're hanging out and talking about it and stuff. And then all of a sudden all the survivors, they reconvene at like a place outside. It just happens at random. It was never planned. So Carter and his girlfriend shows up while Claire and Alex are talking, and Billy just shows up on a bike. Mrs. Luton comes out. She doesn't want nothing to do with Alex. She's terrified of him. They're all arguing. And then so Carter's girlfriend's all like, you know, you can beat up Alex all you want, but this is my last year of senior high school, and I'm not gonna be like wallowing over a bunch of dead students. She walks out into the road and gets hit smack dab by a car. It is huge. It is bloody. Blood splatters everywhere. Alex is now tripping and everything. He's really upset. He's not taking no phone calls from Claire or nothing like that. So at some point in time, like I said, Miss Luton, he got the premonition on her. She's moving and everything because the school years have been too much for her. And so, because she can't keep going to that same school, seeing, you know, those dead faces and stuff. So as she's packing, water spills on the computer. It explodes on her. Glass is in her neck. Blood is everywhere. It starts a fire in the house. But since the blood is in her neck, she's trying to reach for a cloth. She slips. She falls. The cloth knocks over a thing of knives and goes straight in her chest. Alex goes into the house. He takes the knife out of her. He knows he can't save her, and so he runs out the house as it explodes. Billy sees this, and Billy had no choice but to tell the police and, you know, the fire department, because it caramelized Alex's shoe prints in like her floor and stuff. So now the FBI really thinks he's involved. So anyways, they all meet up with Carter and everything because Alex has ran away, and they find him. Carter's being his buttheaded self, Billy's being scared, and Claire is trying to comfort that of Alex. And Carter's all like, did you see it coming? He's all like, well, nobody takes control of my life but me. And so he does something really stupid. He hits the gas on his car really fast and just speeding through the road and everything. And everybody's freaking out, and they're all like, dude, like, you know, what are you doing and everything? He's all like, nobody's gonna tell me when I die but me. Like, he thinks he's literally like some type of like immortal or something like that. Not immortal, but he's in control of his own destiny. And so they go off the road onto some train tracks, and he just stops the car there. A train is coming, and he's being smug. He turns the car off. He's all like, I ain't getting out. So everybody's trying to get out, but they can't because the car doors are stuck. So they have to go out like one way. And so as the train is like coming and everything, they all get out, but except for him. And he's like, I ain't leaving. And he's all like, I control my destiny. He tries to turn on the car, but it won't start. So now he's getting scared. His seat belt won't even come off, so he can't even get out. So they help him get out, and of course he pisses his pants. And he's all like, I saw that happening. I saw the seatbelt broke and all this other stuff. And now Alex believes if he can see it happen before it happening, he can avoid death. Carter's all like, what are you, some kind of god? But Billy at this point decides to get a backbone and tells him, I ain't dying for you, Carter. You ain't taking me with you. And he's all like, cause you're next, man. Cause Alex already said that. He's all like, you're next. You're next. Next thing you know, when the train already crashed into the car and everything. There's some rubble on like the train tracks. It's buckling. It buckles off and it decapitates Billy's head in front of everybody. And so Alex is all like, hold up. When I saved Carter, it went to the next person who's supposed to die, and that was Billy on the map. So he realizes he has to keep that pattern going of intervening and everything. In a way, the cops are going to show up. Alex is now like in hiding and stuff, and he's at Claire's old dad's like camp place or whatever they split up, like cabin in the woods type thing. And so at this point in time, the FBI is bugging her to be like, where's Alex? We just want to protect him. So she finally rats him out. But then right before she rats him out, he realizes something. Because see, he proofed the entire house so it won't kill him and everything. He is now paranoid beyond belief. And he realizes something as he's trying to start the lamp. He realizes he never got up from the plane and everything. Like, he never moved. Like, in his premonition dream, he switched seats so that dude can, so that one girl can sit next to her friend, and it pissed his friend off. But he never got out and switched seats. He just freaked out and fought with, Carter. So he realizes that he's been following the wrong pattern, and Claire is next. So it's a chase to get to her. And of course, a fire starts and electricity and all this other crap. She's nearly about to die. She's trying to save her dog of all things. And so she gets trapped in the car, and there's electricity everywhere. There's sparks that's flying. He finally makes it to her after being chased by the FBI and nearly dying a couple of times. So he tells her he's gonna grab the electrical cords, and when he does that, the electrical current will go into him and she'll be able to escape because she's grounded by the tires, the rubber tires and stuff like that. She tells him it's stupid and he'll die. He's like, no, because it's not my time. So he can literally avoid dying. So anyway, he does it. It explodes, pops him back. She gets out the car, the FBI and everybody's trying to resuscitate him, and it worked. He lived. A year has passed. They're all now in Paris. Him, Claire, and Carter. She changes her hair color. He kind of changes his hairstyle, whatever. And they're talking about how they never thought they'll make it to Paris and everything, but they finally did. And talking about, how they avoided death. But he's still obsessed with the pattern. And he's all like, he doesn't understand something. He doesn't understand because he never intervened to save Billy and everything. So the pattern should still be going on. See, they think they defeated death. See, once they defeated it, they thought, okay, it's not coming from them no more. They can live their lives normal. But he realizes nobody never intervened to save Billy. So the pattern must still be going on. So, of course, there's premonition stuff going all around. And it's coming for him now. Somehow Claire is now able to see it. She warns him, and then Carter intervenes and saves Alex. And then he's like, well, who's next? And then the big billboard thing comes and crashes down on Carter off screen. This was just awesome all around. But then the sequel came around. And when I heard the sequel coming out, I'm like, yes, I get to see what happens to the survivors. Well, turns out Devin Sauer did not want to return. So they killed him off screen. And Claire is so upset by all this and terrified, she has locked herself in a mental institution where nothing can get to her because she's surrounded by padded walls. We know Carter died from the ending of the movie. It has a brand new cast. They got into like a car accident. Some survived, and it just starts the whole thing all over again. But then they realize something. Somehow they have ties to the original cast. And the original cast somehow did something that like prevented them from dying a long time ago. So death was coming for them no matter what. And then so Bloodworth returns and tells them only the life of a newborn can stop the pattern of death. Makes no sense, but whatever. So a woman who survived it was pregnant, and they have to make sure her baby is born so they can stop the pattern of death. They do that. But then at the end of the movie, the pattern is still going on. And then it goes into sequel after sequel after sequel, and you get the gist. Now, there is a famous deleted alternate ending scene where Claire has Alex's baby. When did they do it in the movie? Who knows? I'm glad they left it out. That wasn't that spooky. Alright, well, I shall talk to y'all later. Bye.